Meanwhile, the FDA is fast-tracking methods of fighting this coronavirus outbreak, the most recent being a test that can detect COVID-19 antibodies. In just 2 minutes, let's bring in FDA Commissioner Dr. Stephen Hahn on that. Mr. Commissioner and Dr. Hahn, good morning to you, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Sandra. It's a real pleasure to be here.
We have so many questions for you. First, I'll start on that note. The 2-minute coronavirus test, is it effective?
So if you're referring to the test that is been said to be available for antibody testing, that is, can you detect someone who now has immunity against it? We are not authorizing those tests. We are in the process of looking at applications for those tests, and obviously that's a huge priority. But just the point, it's not a diagnostic test. It doesn't tell you whether you actually have the disease right now. With the test that's been advertised as one that tells you whether you've been exposed to it and have antibodies. We're working very hard to further develop, to further work with developers over these tests to get as many of them out, because they are a component of the public health effort.
Some say that that test would be key, though, because then you have healthy people walking around with no symptoms who might be carrying the virus and could expose more vulnerable people like pregnant women or the elderly. So do you see that as an absolute necessity as far as priority for the FDA to get that approved?
There is no question that this is a priority for FDA. We issued some regulatory flexibility guidance several weeks ago regarding this, and test developers are allowed to develop them without pre-market authorization. So in other words, they don't have to come to us first. We're very happy to look at their data and information. But again, I want to stress to you that this is a complementary test to the diagnosis. If, for example, you have antibodies to the virus, that is an immune response, it doesn't mean that you're currently infected. So it goes hand in hand with the diagnostic test of looking at whether you actually have the virus currently present, because that gets to your issue of whether someone is infectious.
Okay, so on that note, we just saw across a moment ago that the FDA has announced the Coronavirus Treatment Acceleration Program. So where do we stand as far as discovering treatments and advancing them and improving them from the FDA?
This is great news for the American people in terms of the partnership between the private sector and government. For the last 4 to 6 weeks, we stood up a group to actually look at the acceleration of potential therapies, treatments for coronavirus, starting with agents that actually specifically treat the virus, and also something called convalescent plasma, where we're looking at, again, gathering these antibodies to give to people who are sick to treat them. So this is a cross-agency effort that's a complete partnership with the private sector. We're streamlining all processes to make sure that we can get the applications that come to us into the treatment arena in the hospitals as quickly as possible. Sandra, it's really important to stress that there are no FDA-approved therapies for COVID-19. But what we're talking about is expediting getting potentially positive therapies that could help out into hospitals, into doctors' hands, typically under the setting of a clinical trial, where we can generate the evidence and the data that helps FDA make the decisions about the safety and effectiveness of treatments. And we're pushing that forward very aggressively.
I think it's fair to say you sound pretty optimistic as far as progress on that is concerned. I'll read you a headline from the Washington Post, because in the middle of all this, there's a lot of criticism of the FDA possibly going too quickly with some of these treatments and potentially not looking at all the risks involved and rather looking at just trying to get fast help. The FDA authorizes widespread use of unproven drugs to treat coronavirus, saying possible benefit outweighs the risk. This particular piece goes into the combination of those drugs and says that health experts are warning that the well-known side effects could become commonplace with widespread use. In particular, looking at people that already have existing health problems, heart problems, taking certain drugs, antidepressants, and that these could become fatal. So are you seeing the benefits outweigh the potential risks of exposing people to these treatments?
This is a really important issue, and I want to explain it. We issued an emergency use authorization, just as described in that article, for entry of hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine into the system. We did not approve it for the use of treatment of COVID-19, but what this allowed us to do is have donated drug to come into the system. That drug will be allocated for clinical trials where we'll be able to ask the question about whether these drugs work. That's the best way to get the data and the science for us to tell Americans whether this is the right drug for them. It's also allowed the donated drug to come into the circulation because the other way that Americans have the potential to get this drug is to go to their doctor, know about the risks and benefits with the doctor, have a discussion about the drug, and decide whether it's the right drug for them to take. We have not taken a stance, nor are we, on whether doctors should prescribe it. We're providing facts and information about the risks and benefits, but that really is and should be a doctor-patient decision.
Where do we stand as far as ventilators are concerned? We hear a lot of mixed messaging on the need for those ventilators. We've also heard from the governor of New York State talking about now the need for some of these hospitals to put 2 patients on 1 ventilator. What is the FDA recommending on that? And are we where we need to be as far as having the capacity to administer those ventilators to the patients that need them?
Well, the good news here is that FEMA and Health and Human Services are working very hard to increase capacity. I'll tell you what FDA's role is. Again, FDA does not regulate the practice of medicine. We provide guidance about what's the best way to expand the capacity, what's the best way to actually clean these ventilators, what's the best way to help manufacturers ramp up so that we get the best devices in the hands of providers. Our job is to make sure that devices, drugs, whatever we're talking about, are safe and effective. So we've provided a lot of guidance and flexibility around this so that we can expand capacity. And then we're feeding that information up to Health and Human Services and FEMA as they look at the allocation and the ramp up in the manufacturing.
Well, we hear the need for them, and a lot of companies have tried to fill that void. Ford and other motor companies have stepped in and tried to use their manufacturing facilities to make those ventilators. Really appreciate your time this morning, Mr. Commissioner. Please come back soon.
Thank you, Sandra. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.